Hey, this is JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It's November 12th, 2025. Looking out at the northern lights over Carbonate last night. If you had a chance to check that out, it's pretty rad how it moved between, ebbed and flowed between pink and green out there. And if you're still enjoying this broadcast, we ask you to do one-time donation or even better, sign up for that monthly sustaining membership. Today we're going to have mostly cloudy skies. We've got a lot of moisture starting to filter its way into the area with the big trough moving in. Going to have a couple isolated evening showers, not really amounting to anything. And tomorrow we'll have some increasing clouds ahead of that storm, cold front coming through Thursday to Friday morning. And that's going to bring rain mostly to the lower elevations and snow starting pretty high at 9,000 feet and dropping down to 9,700 or 6,700 feet by Thursday morning. And then we're going to have a brief break for Saturday before more rain and snow comes through on Sunday to Monday. All right, looking at the current satellite view, we got that big area low pressure starting to work its way towards us. We got a stationary front kind of overhead right now, and then this little plume of moisture working its way up too. That's going to bring those clouds today. And then you can see this little break we're going to have here. That's how we're going to start out with clearer skies tomorrow, and then that increasing block heading as that cold front of blue line moves towards us to the east. All right, looking at the HRRR forecast, haven't really had a chance to show you this in a few days because not really much is happening. You'd see we might pick up some virga, these light blue hues. It usually is virga, so that's moisture that's fallen from the sky but doesn't quite hit us. And then there might be a couple isolated rain showers tonight before tomorrow night you can kind of start to see this band of moisture working its way across us. That's going to come through as a cold front in the early morning of Friday. The NAM forecast is showing a little bit more showery activity tonight. You could see a lot more green, so don't be surprised to see a little bit of snow in the higher mountains and some rain in the valley floor. All right, looking at temperatures, we are like 15 to 18 degrees above normal for this time of year, so it's been pretty nice out there. You're gonna get that for today and tomorrow, and then that cold front is gonna knock it down a little bit, and then next week we're gonna be more into the usual temperature of in the low 40s for this time of year. Got a big atmospheric river hitting the California coastline here. That's not really going to hit us as it usually does. I'll show that in a little bit here as we look at the 500 millibar chart for the GFS run. So the snow we can expect out of the storm Thursday night into Friday, generally 3 to 5 inches for all the higher spots. The Sawtooth and White Clouds are going to get the majority of the moisture, and higher elevations will have more snow. Pioneers are only just going to pick up a couple inches, as well as the Lost Rivers. Looking a little bit more breakdown of the storm timing wise, so you can see Thursday night it starts in the early morning of or late part of Thursday into Friday morning, when it looks like the more majority of the precipit's going to probably fall between that 5 to 8 a.m. window. Looking at how much water we're going to get out of this, you can see Moores Creek is going to pick up a good amount. It's going to be really elevation dependent, so I think it's going to start and mostly be rain before it changes over to snow. It might get a little snow at the tail end of the storm, but unfortunately with these warmer northwest flow, I think it's going to bring rain. All right, looking at the overall amounts of snow we're going to get over the next week. And snow starts to come in Thursday night into Friday, We're going to have a little break on Saturday. You can see most of the sawtooth range. Focus in here a little bit more. Most of the sawtooth range is going to be getting the moisture out of this. And then as we go into Sunday, another storm system moves through, and you can see we start to get into the close to a 1 foot range. So we're not going to get a ton out of this, but Monday through Thursday, we're just going to keep amounting a couple inches here and there. So it'll add up. And you can see eventually this is pretty far out, so low confidence with this, but you can see that the valley floors in Haley and in the Sawtooth pick up some snow by the end of the week, of next week. All right, now I'll kind of walk you through what's going to happen here. So we're going to have area of high pressure today. So usually it's clear and sunny on those high pressure days, but because we have all this incoming moisture, it's going to be cloudy. You can see this low forming over the coast of California right here. That's going to bring us through that cold front Thursday night into Friday. And what you can start to see happening on Saturday, that low breaks off and becomes a close low. So it's losing energy from the jet stream as it goes off and does its own thing. And what happens with that is it just continues to spin out here, and it's just going to keep hitting California with moisture. We're kind of far enough away in Idaho that I don't think we're going to get too much moisture out of it. That's why we kind of have that lull Saturday. And eventually that thing is going to get pushed off to the east, and we get a new system forming off the coastline that's supposed to, or looks like it's going to bring us a little bit more weather. So here's where I have a little bit of model disagreement. On the GFS, you can see we actually have two lows stacked on top of each other, and we're kind of in the middle. Not a good spot to be if you want weather. The Euro actually has this kind of being one system, I believe, if I remember correctly. So we still kind of have uncertainty what that storm system is going to be like. The thing that I keep in mind is that it's just going to be hitting us with precip, and that's kind of what we want to see. It's our season to get precip, that being the fall and winter. So as much as we can get snow on the ground, that's going to help us with next year. All right, looking at the NBM models, you can see it's broken up into this one system moving through that's going to kind of come in quick and fast as that cold front, have that little lull, and then a little bit more duration of precip with not too many. You can kind of see some of the ebbs and flows as that system moves through, but mostly going to be hitting us with more consistent moisture and snowfall. But by the end of it, we are really not picking up a ton of it, and this is looking out into the future. So this is for Williams, that's looking the best. Titus, which is midway down through the Central Mountains, picking up a little bit less, an inch of water, foot of snow. And then Pio, this is actually Galena Summit. Stand by, let's get Pio here. It's probably not going to be as much, yeah. Barely getting anything out of that cold front. And then decent punch of moisture actually Sunday through Tuesday. And the snowfall amounts will be more, as this is by the SNOTEL site lower down. So you probably see maybe 14 inches out of that and double the water. So pretty actually close to Williams. We'll have a little catch up on that front. All right, looking really far out, we have a slight risk for heavy snow during the November 19th to the 23rd here. So that's signaling towards wet and colder weather, and that's what they're showing us on these charts. Cooler colors on the left here signifying that we will have below normal temperatures for leading into December, and wet weather, which is music to my ears.